It's just made sense. Why? Do I need to explain? I feel like those that know me, you know me. If you know, you know. Those that don't, well, you know, you'll learn.
For the Circuit Court the Supreme Court has held repeatedly, Senator. I don't think it would be
What can you tell them, brothers?
If you can't keep your opponents from scoring, just outscore them.
Yo, what's going on, people? Just Made Sense, episode 18. I'm your host, Just, capital J, lowercase u, lowercase s, short for the government, just us, because it's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just them, it's not just y'all, but it's just us. We're all here. Welcome to another edition of Just Made Sense podcast. Hashtag Just Made Sense on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you use. Most know I'm not a huge Facebook user, but I do have a profile on there. But Instagram, Twitter, catch me on there. Justice Rogers TV. That's JUSTUSROGERS TV. Last name Rogers is spelled like the right way. At least that's how I look at it. Not like Aaron Rodgers, but ROGERS TV. Episode 18. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all the listeners. I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I want to say that I appreciate your guys' patience. I appreciate the support. Appreciate everything that I see. Tweets, DMs, messages, comments, whatever it is. Just know I see it. Even if I don't get to it right away, I do see it. I synced it. And I will get to it. And I do appreciate just all the support and how you guys show love, because I do enjoy that. That makes this all worth it. It makes it all fun. And it makes me want to continue to put out an episode every week, or as much as I can. So I just want to say thanks to you guys for being there. And, let's get right into it. First and foremost, we usually start, if there is any news of this type, I definitely want to give my thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the family of Barbara Hillary. If you don't know, you will know. Barbara Hillary was the first black woman to reach the North Pole and the South Pole. Let me say that one more time for those who are like me out there and they're into history and they're interested in this type of thing. And if you don't know, I'll give you some more info on it. Barbara Hillary was the first black woman, first African-American woman to reach the North and South Poles. Now, the fun fact, which is even makes her life story and career of, going to the North and South Pole even, more intense, is that she reached the North Pole at the age of 75. And then she reached the South Pole at the age of 79. Let me say that one more time. She reached the North Pole at the age of 75, and then the South Pole at age 79. 7 and a 9. Listen, folks, I am, I don't know if I want to just throw my age out there, but I am between 21 and 30 years old, okay? No time in my lifetime do I want to go to the North or South Pole. I don't think so. I've never thought about it. I've never considered it. It's never been on my mind. No one's ever invited me. Said, hey, come on up. Come on. Santa definitely hasn't invited me to the North Pole. South Pole, haven't got an invite there. To my knowledge, I don't know anybody at the North Pole or the South Pole. But, hey, shout out to the poles, to the North and South Pole. Maybe I got some listeners out there. If you do, hey, hit me up on social media, Justice Rogers TV. Let me know you're a fan or listener, supporter of Just Made Sense podcast. But this lady had quite the life, man. I mean, to go down in history as this, she just passed away on the 27th of November at the age of 88. At the age of 88. So 75 North Pole, South Pole at age 79, and then she just passed away on the 27th at age 88. So Barbara Hillary, prayers and thoughts are with your family, and I'm just glad that she is not only a role model, but what an achievement to make in your lifetime. Like I said, I have no aspirations to do what she did, but I'm glad she did it so that I could talk about it and put it out there. And, you learned something new today, hopefully. If you already knew that, well, hey, you heard it again. It just made sense. Another message, or I guess these are messages. Yeah, why not? It's like a message in a bottle. They might not hear it. They might not ever know, but, those who are listening and those who know me know that, hey, these people had a place in my heart. The founder of Burton Snowboards. I don't know how many snowboarders or skiers or snow people I have tuning in. Maybe a good amount, considering that, we're in the Portland area, now in Oregon. The founder of Burton Snowboarders just passed away, and he was 65 years old. This is Jake Burton Carpenter, and I found out via Burton Snowboards, their Twitter account. They put out a tweet. Matter of fact, I could read the tweet here. The tweet says, "It is with a heavy heart that we share that Burton founder Jake Burton Carpenter passed away peacefully last night, surrounded by loved ones as a result of complications from recurring cancer. He was the soul of snowboarding, the one who gave us the sport we love, #RideOnJake." That was a beautiful message, and it's definitely sad to hear that. I've never gone snowboarding in my entire life. I've never been a snowboarder. I've never, I don't know if I've even touched or been around a snowboard, but I remember growing up, being a kid and playing snowboarding video games, man. I don't know what it was about the attraction. I think it was just something cool that, I had never done, and probably a lot of people within my, friend circle and community, being in California, that wasn't really our thing. We weren't going up to the mountains to snowboard. We were going up to, playing the snow and whatnot. But I got familiar with brands like Burton, from watching, the Shaun Whites of the world and those who, did participate in snowboarding. I always saw that Burton logo. I always thought that B was dope, and I'm sure he was the mastermind behind that design. And so when I saw this, I was like, wow, really? I didn't even know he had cancer. So, I'm definitely glad to hear that. It sounds like he did put up a good fight, and his family was with him even until the very end there. So definitely prayers and condolences to the Burton family and the Burton brand, all those who either worked with him or worked with him, and the Burton snowboard company. Definitely want to send prayers and condolences out that way, as that is something that I know just simply from my childhood. On to some very interesting and, I don't know, what's the word? Wonderful, spectacular, terrific. I don't know. Good news, though. Good news that I was actually really excited to see. I didn't know it was coming up. I had no idea, but I'll give it to you. Recently, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey helped unveil the memorial statue of Rosa Parks, and it's placed just 30 feet away from where the civil rights hero is believed to have sparked the Montgomery bus boycott. Now, I had no idea that Rosa Parks was getting a statue, so when I saw this on Twitter, I was very excited because she's definitely, if not one of my role models, at the very top of my, top role model list, up there with, MLK and folks like that. And so when I saw this, I was very, very excited. I was very hype about it, and I couldn't wait to do the podcast just to say, props to either this mayor or those that work with her, or whoever came up with the concept or idea to put this statue together, because she definitely deserves one. If anybody deserves a statue, it's definitely Rosa Parks, that's for sure. And I just think that's great. For those that don't know the story of Rosa Parks, she was lived at least in Montgomery, Alabama. She was a seamstress and activist, and she was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a segregated city bus. I think it's interesting that I'm able and even have the opportunity to tell this story, being somebody who wasn't around back then, but do have, grandparents and family members and even ancestors who were around during that time. And even my own father, he was born in the 60s. So this is during, his childhood. I like telling these stories because sometimes I have to realize that I do have listeners in other places, in other countries, on other continents. I want to give a shout out to you guys. Every once in a while, I'll check the stats and see exactly where everybody's coming from. And I'll see New Zealand, I'll see Australia, I'll see Ireland. I'll see a lot of places that I haven't even been to that they're tuning in and showing love. So, some places, this is not a part of their history. This happened in America. So for them, it might not be as big. It might not seem as important, or, it just could be a matter of being unaware, and it's not their fault. They don't live here. I can't expect somebody, in, I don't know, Japan, or somebody in, Brazil, who's maybe never been to America or hasn't studied America's, history extensively. I can't expect them to, know about Rosa Parks or know her story or why she's important to not only black people but African Americans and those that live here and even abroad, why she's important. And so it was so glad to be able to see that she got a statue. I really want to visit this statue, go and take a picture with it, of course, and just really, take a look at it. It looks great. And I think this is just a great token, a great way to show love to someone who started something very important, and someone who, like I said, very humble person and a woman. Like I said, she was a seamstress. So, it wasn't like, Rosa Parks was, working for Martin Luther King. She wasn't his neighbor. She wasn't his secretary. She had her own life, and she chose on that day to not give up her seat on that bus where, back then, if a white person, if somebody of the Caucasian persuasion was to get on a bus, you got to give your seat up. You got to stand up and you got to go. It's you got to, that's out. The term "back of the bus," comes from. That's where we were during the 60s, and especially in the South during these times where Jim Crow laws and just a lot of negative things affecting black communities and those who, like I said, specifically lived in the southern part of the United States of America, had to deal with this on a regular basis. And so it was very sad. It's a very traumatic part of our history, but at the same time, we have so many heroes and so many role models that came out of this time that I believe they do deserve not only their flowers, but they do deserve statues. They do deserve medals and things like this. So it was great to see that Rosa Parks, even though she has passed away, she does have a statue, and that's going to be there, until the earth is no longer here. So I want to give a shout out to whoever is within the Alabama or the Montgomery government, including Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, that they did a really good thing, and they definitely deserve some props on that, because that was deserved. And I'm hoping, specifically in the near future, I'm hoping that more civil rights activists and those who were heavily involved in fighting for the civil rights of black Americans and African Americans get statues and get medals and get these type of things, because they do deserve them. And what's interesting is a lot of them are still alive. There are a few that are, they're either getting up in age or have recently passed, in recent years. But for those that are still alive, I really would hope, that they could be given their flowers by their communities. I will definitely always give them their props. Will always want to speak to them, interview them, and hear about their life story and background and what inspired them to be involved. But those that are of high power, whether it's in government, whether it's in, I don't know, Hollywood, whatever areas, especially in America, that we consider, top tier, I hope they get, what they deserve as far as props. I know that's not what they did it for, and that's what makes it even better. Anytime you hear an interview, whether it's Martin Luther King Jr.'s children, or whether you hear, the daughter, I believe, of Malcolm X, or, some of these people, they always say that, they know that their parents, they weren't doing it for the recognition. They weren't doing it for the props. They were doing it because that's what it had to be done. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that, you could ignore. I think nowadays that's the sad part, is even with the news, even with, we got cameras on our iPhones and Android phones and cameras all over the place. Even with that, sometimes these things go ignored. Sometimes, depending on what part of the country you're in or where you're at in the world, it's easy to overlook, either outright racism or discrimination or segregation that, may not be forced by law, but it's happening, when you go in a store and that they choose not to serve somebody. I just saw a video earlier of it looked like a couple or some friends from America. They traveled over to, I think it was Amsterdam, and, totally different country, but still, similar, it's still the same. I don't even know what the word would be, because it's not the same country, but we're still in the same time. We're still in the this decade. It's not 2020 yet. So to go over to another country, another continent, and be treated like it's 1960s America, Deep South America. I'm sure that didn't feel well. You might see the video. I'm sure it's gone viral. It might surface on your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you use. But yeah, it is a couple or friends that they do look African American, and I believe they are from America. And in Amsterdam, a restaurant chose not to serve them, and then continued to serve the other customers who were not black or were not African American. And even the guy kind of gives them a look like, hey, you don't belong here. You don't deserve to enjoy this restaurant, enjoy what we're offering. And so that's sad to see. But like I said, I'm sure it's easy for some people if you don't care or if you're not invested. These things can go beyond your radar, and you just don't see it, and you might not think that it's happening, but it is. I've only been here in Oregon and in the Portland area a few months. I don't know how many months it's been, maybe 4 or 5 months now, 4, 5, or 6. I don't know. But even being here, I've experienced some discrimination and racism. Even driving into to Oregon for the first time from California, when I made that long drive from California to Oregon. As soon as I crossed the border, almost, I think we were just coming in, and some things were said and directed in my direction as I'm driving my car now in Oregon. And it's just a reminder. And I think those who are, the same skin tone as me or come from the same type of communities and backgrounds that I come from can relate that every once in a while, you'll get a reminder, sadly, from somebody, whether you're at the grocery store or getting gas or something, and just kind of reminds you that, hey, okay, I am still, my people were segregated against in this country. My people were not treated fairly. We did not have our civil rights. We were brought over here on slave ships, and it's just a reminder that, as much as we like to think and assume that everything is fair, everything is, beautiful, everything is perfect here in America. I mean, nothing is perfect. Nowhere is perfect. But you just got to kind of stay on your toes and remember that, you're not, we're not, we were brought here. A lot of us, even though we're born here in America, we are considered American. That is our nationality. Our ancestors and loved ones, they were brought here. They were forced here. They were not invited to America. So that's the sad truth. But off of that tangent, didn't mean to get too deep on you there. But one thing I do want to talk about that I think is very, very interesting, at least it's interesting to me, is here in Oregon, I've noticed that it's cold. I've noticed it's very cold. And I know it's cold, East Coast, Midwest, certain places. But like I said, I'm from California. Summer just ended in California. It's barely starting to get cold right now. But not only is it cold, when it rains heavy. It could rain for like 15 minutes and then stop and the sun comes out, which is weird in itself. But it'll rain heavy and it's like heavy raindrops, man. I don't know what it is. And the other day I was outside and I was getting ready to drive home and I thought I was feeling that same heavy raindrop, situation. And it wasn't. It was actually, it was snow. I mean, it wasn't heavy like pounds. I don't know how they measure snow, but it wasn't, like you could tell it was white. So that's what was throwing me off. Because like I said, I'm from California, even living on the coast, never had snow there. Had snow in the valley once when I was, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5, something like that. That was the first heavy snow I was actually in, where it was coming down and it was thick. But I've never actually been in the snow when it's coming down, like it's coming down on my head, like that type of situation. So as I'm standing outside and getting ready to drive home, I'm like, man, I think this is snow. These are like snow flakes, like falling from the sky. So that's interesting. I'm not used to that. And it was actually kind of, I don't want to sound soft or nothing, but it was pretty beautiful, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was a beautiful moment. I'm like, man, I've never seen this before in person. Like, it's December now, so all the Christmas movies, I'm a big Christmas spirit guy. For those that follow me on Twitter, you'll see I have changed my Avi. I do have a Santa Claus hat in my original Avi now on. So I'm switching up everything. But as far as that goes, snowflakes, heavy snow, I've never, that's not my thing. I've never been involved in that. So to be here and to be a an active participant in the snow and snowflakes falling, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't like, oh wow, snow's falling, I hate this. Snowflakes, I can't stand snowflakes. It was just one of those things where it was like, wow, this is different. Haven't been involved in this before, and I like it. So I'm not gonna lie, I am actually looking forward to real snow, like heavy snow coming down, because I do enjoy snow. I'm looking forward to being in it, enjoying it, taking pictures in it, tweeting about it, posting about it. But yeah, that was just one thing the other day that kind of caught me by surprise. So it went from rain to, white, it was white. It wasn't like water. It wasn't clear. It was, I'm literally looking at like flakes, white flakes, falling from the sky. So that was very interesting. One thing I try to do, to the best of my ability, is I try to share some of my experiences, being a California transplant here in Oregon and, just outside Portland, just in case anybody's interested in, moving here, or if you're not interested, you can get kind of my opinion and my thoughts on what it's like being here. And like I said, I haven't been here a year yet, so I'm sure there's plenty of things, for me to experience. I haven't been to the Portland Zoo yet. I haven't been to, I'm sure a few other things that, there are to do in the Portland area in Oregon. So I'm still getting my feet wet, but I do like to share, what does happen to me here. Real quick, I'd like to take a moment to give some shout outs out. We did have a Twitter shout out opportunity earlier today. So let me go on Twitter and see who all retweeted this tweet. I like to do this from time to time. When I wake up, usually after I talk to the man above, the man upstairs, the man in the attic, the good Lord, Jesus Christ, as he's commonly known as. After I talk to him, my second thing that I like to do is to get on Twitter in the morning. Wake up, pray, thank the Lord for another day, and then get on Twitter, man, and see what's cracking off on Twitter. So when I did get on Twitter today, I was in such a good mood. I was like, you know what, man? Let me just throw a little tweet out there. Like, look, if you want a shout out, I'll give you a shout out on the podcast today. Just Made Sense, hashtag Just Made Sense. When I do get on there, and I had some people retweet the tweet. So let me find it real quick, and I will give a shout out to those that retweeted it. Like I said, if you don't follow me on Twitter, and you're interested in doing so, go ahead and look me up. You could either look up the hashtag Just Made Sense, or you could just find my @ It's Justice Rogers TV, JUSTUS ROGERS TV. Should be pretty easy to find. I believe I'm the only one on there, and that should get it done. Let's see here. The people that are getting the shout outs today, I want to give a shout out to @Supreme Saiyan. Okay, clearly this guy is a Dragon Ball Z fan, so shout out to him, because Dragon Ball Z is a classic show from my youth, from my childhood. Jose De Leon. Oh, Jose De Leon. I know who this is. Shout out to Jose De Leon. We went to middle school together, went to the same junior high. Shout out to Stone Creek Junior High in Bakersfield, California. Let's see who else gets a shout out. Shout out to Jose, man. Played on the same basketball team as well. Shout out to Jay Designs. Jay Designs, he's the one that actually hooked me up with my new Avi on Twitter that shows my holiday spirit. I have a Santa hat on. man, shout out to him, J Designs. And who else? Matter of fact, first and foremost, we got to get this one. It's after the fact, but those of you that follow me on Instagram probably saw my story a few days ago that it was my father's birthday, man. It was the captain's birthday, the vet, Reggie Rogers. I want to give a shout out to my dad. Look, listen, guys, he's the one. I got to give him props anytime I do a podcast, anything broadcast related, anything, art related. My mom, of course, has a lot to do with that. But my father, being a radio veteran, he's been in radio since the 80s, so 30-something years, probably going on close to 40 years soon. He's the one that media trained me as a kid, taught me how to hold a mic, taught me how to, put together AV equipment, audio, visuals, everything. My dad, he was the one that, growing up, always had equipment in the house, always had a studio to go to, always had studio equipment. I used to go with him when he would do interviews, when he would do, all types of stuff. And so I just want to give a shout out to my dad, Reggie Rogers. His radio show, Power Jams, The Wake Up Show. You can hear that nationally. That's right, I said it. Nationally syndicated show for those who are international, those who are outside of the country. You can go to his website, powerjams.org. Jams is with a Z. That's power and then jams, Jamz. Power Jams, The Wake Up Show, powerjams.org. That is produced and hosted by my father, Reggie Rogers. He's been in radio for a minute. And he's the one that even got me into to podcasting, and he was the one that put me on the radio first as a kid, and even as I got older, and let me help out with segments and all types of stuff. So shout out to my dad. He just had his birthday. Looking forward to seeing him in 2020, and the rest of my family that's down in California. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to him. I want to give a big shout out to all the Lake Show fans out there, all of Laker Nation, everybody repping purple and gold. The Lakers, man, we looking beautiful. We're looking beautiful. Matter of fact, we're looking great right now. Let me get close to the mic and say we're looking great. We're looking fantastic. Man, the Lakers, I think we've only lost 3 games. We just had our losing streak snapped just a night ago. So, I mean, it's all good. But LeBron looks fantastic. AD looks great. Kuzma, I'm not a hater, but I don't really, he still got to get his legs back. He's got to get his legs back because we really need him to pour in some buckets, some points, and contributions. So Kuzma, let's get it going, buddy. Come on, we know you could average 30 if you wanted to. So let's pump it up a little bit. Caruso looks great. I mean, we're just really Dwight Howard. Listen, man. Anybody that went to middle school or junior high with me knows how big of a fan I was of Dwight Howard. I mean, I got his high school highlight tapes to this day. I got to find them. I don't know where they're at, but I got them from when he was in high school in Atlanta. I had his signature Adidas hoop shoes, basketball shoes. I don't know what year that was. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade, something like that. Yeah, man, Dwight Howard, I was always a fan of his game and even just his personality. But I feel like he I don't know, I shouldn't say he didn't reach his potential, but I feel like he just had a really high ceiling. And it seemed like he was going up and up and up, and then after a while he just kind of, it died down a little bit. So I don't know what happened. But now that he's with the Lakers, man, this guy's energy on the floor is great. It seems like he's being a great teammate. Like, he's just doing a lot of the things that you want to see out of a player like that, who's been in the league for a little while now, been on a few different teams. I would say he has peaked. He has reached his peak in the league, but he's being a great contributor on the Lakers. And so I just want to see him do great, still picking up, ticky-tacky fouls here and there. So he does have to work on that. But other than that, this guy, he's looking good, man. I'm hoping actually a lot of these guys in this core group stay with the Lakers. I don't know what everybody's contract situation is, but I really hope they stick around because this group seems to gel. Rondo doing his thing as always, playing great defense, making great assists. JaVale McGee doing great, looking like he was when he was in Golden State. And so, man, I just really hope that the Lakers keep this going because I'm enjoying watching this unit. I pretty much, I think, almost watched every game this season so far. I might have missed maybe 1 or 2. And but speaking of games, man, listen, man, I'm not. Most people know I'm not the braggadocious type. right? You know, I don't like to brag. I don't like to throw stuff in your face. You know, I keep it chill. I keep it nice and trill. And but I gotta give a shout out. Last shout out before we get out of here. I gotta give a shout out. I can't give all the info, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this is the Just Made Sense podcast, but we don't get into just life like that. You know what I'm saying? I share what I can, but I don't share too much. But I want to give a shout out to my girl, man. I got to give a shout out to my girl, B. Listen, man. I might get emotional here. I'm not going to lie. I might get a little emotional. Man, she got me tickets to when the Lakers come to Portland, man, and play the Blazers this week, bro. And I'm hyped, man. I can't even explain the hypeness, the excitedness level. But, man, I haven't been to a Laker game. I think last time I went to a Laker game, I think it was Kobe's last season. So I don't know, when was that? 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years ago now? I don't know. Whatever the year was that Kobe retired, I went to a game. I think it was the whole family, my parents, my brother and I, and we all went, had great seats. They were playing, I want to say, Denver Nuggets. This was in L.A. at the Staples Center. And I want to say this was Kobe's last season. It was either his last season right before he retired, like right before, you know, he had that crazy last game, or it was the season before. Either way, it's been at least a year or two since I've been to a Laker game. You know, obviously I'm, you know, Laker fan for life, Laker Nation, Lake Show. You already know what it is, purple and gold for life. And so I really, if I'm going to a basketball game, I'm only going to see the Lakers. I'm not going to, you know, a Clipper game. I'm not going to a, you know, random Blazer game unless, you know, a friend of mine wants to go, my girl wants to go. But, man, this week I get to go see LeBron James and the Laker gang take it to the Blazers, man. I think it's going to be a great game. You know, I can't wait to go and just, you know, fan out, just have a great time, wear all my Laker gear, and just, you know, just this is great, man. It's a great early Christmas gift from her. So shout out to B. You know, if you know her, you know her. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. If not, then don't worry about it. Just know, you know what I'm saying? That's my little shawty. And she looked out for a man on that. So shout out to B. And yeah, man, I want to give a shout out to all my family and loved ones. I had a wonderful, beautiful Thanksgiving, and I hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving as well. Hopefully you ate good, because we got Christmas coming up, man. So I'm very thankful for many things. I'm thankful for, like I said, my family, loved ones, my friends. I'm thankful for this platform to be able to speak, you know what I'm saying, into my studio equipment, into my platform, so that you can hear the sound of my voice, whether you're, you know, down back home in California, or you're across the country in New York on the East Coast, or if you're in, you know, New Zealand, Australia, you know, wherever you're at. You know, I'm glad and thankful for you, for your listening ear and your support. We have some great interviews coming up, not only in the rest of this year, but in 2020 as well. I'm not one of those people that, you know, starts making all the 2020, you know, things before the new year gets here. You know, I take it one day at a time, because you never know, it could be over like that. So as I'm looking forward to 2020, you know, we won't be talking about that until we actually get there, if you know what I mean. But you know, I'm thankful for everybody. I'm thankful for life. I'm just thankful for all the things that, you know, I need, I have, and the, you know, things that I want, I have. I'm just blessed, and I'm thankful for all of you as well. So Just Made Sense, episode 18. You know, live from right outside Portland, Oregon. The weather is getting colder and colder, more rain. Hopefully some more snow will fall as we get closer to Christmas. I'm in full Christmas mode now. Like I said, if you follow me on Twitter at Justice Rogers TV, that's at JUSTUS ROGERS TV. You will see my Twitter Avi. I do have a Christmas hat on now, so I want to give a shout out to J Designs for doing that for me. And yeah, I'll be singing Christmas songs and watching Christmas movies, Christmas food, if there's Christmas type food, desserts, all that good stuff. And yeah, a matter of fact, before I get out of here, I want to encourage everybody to be safe, be very aware during this time that they call the holiday season, just because, hey, listen, you know, as much as, you know, we want to enjoy life and enjoy enjoy our outings and enjoy this time of year, there are people who don't want you to, sadly, to enjoy this time of year. There are some Grinches out there that would love to, see you in a parking lot, or would love to, climb through a window or something. I don't want to, I'm not wishing anything bad on anybody, but I'm just saying, be aware, be safe, hold hands crossing the street, all that good stuff. Love one another. Anyway, Just Made Sense, episode 18, hashtag Just Made Sense on Twitter, Instagram. All right, I'm out. Love y'all. Peace.